Eddie, how do you feel about your own performance in the game? Eoin, he alluded to the fact that some players, weren't at their best, could have done better. I think there may have been some kind of veiled attack on their own performance there. Any comment on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, as you know, I'm just new to the team. Coming in from one of the Midland League. I thought coming down that the manager would sort of try and bring me into the team. Get me to assimilate and get to know some of the players. I really felt, alone out there. Didn't really know who was around me and what was expected. Never got any sort of team talk. Felt very actually, isolated and left down. And also, I think he also made some, not being local, about the local conditions. He mentioned the weather and that we could maybe wear different sort of footwear. I went out there wearing my kind of short studs and wasn't able really kind of get proper grip at the ground. I think that was a bit of a mistake there, but generally I spoke to maybe only one or two occasions. Never really kind of got to know the manager very well.
Yeah. More or less saying, we wouldn't fully admit it, but he was more or less saying you come from a disadvantaged area and we can't expect much from you now.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd really agree with that, to say that I'm from Limerick City, and I didn't have anything easy. I worked for everything I had, we used to play with a bit of newspaper, and that's where I developed my core skills, like, my knee control, especially my foot control down here, I have it. But that's because I was playing with paper, but I mean, it's like Pele. I mean, he came up from the same background, and I would class myself as Pele.
So, sorry, was Pele from Limerick?
No, but he's ginger as well, like.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so that's my connection to Pele,
Steve, any comments on Keefe's tactical style of football? Any complaints about the manager?
No, it's saying like if there's nothing good to say about someone, don't say anything at all. It's probably one that should be used right now, but I think there's a lot more needs to be said than Owen had said before. I think it's probably the lack of it. Good question. I mean, I think Owen is stuck in the past, to be honest. I mean, we had a good young team now. This is the first year we had a good shot at it. I mean, young Toomey right back, Nugent the other side, O'Hanlon, they're all in the 21s. We had a good team, we had a good chance, but he seems stuck in the old. He keeps talking about previous years and different things that went wrong.
In the interview that Eoin O'Keeffe gave yesterday, he was placing a lot of blame on you. You've been lobbed 2 years in a row. I mean, the general feeling in the press room is that it's just a free call to win college. There's nothing you could do and stuff like that. You kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's not a lot I can do in those situations. So, I've been stuck between the sticks, and I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I've been lobbed 2 years in a row now. But I'd say it doesn't really help when the manager isn't, giving you a bit of a leg up before the game. 5 minutes before the game, we're still looking for the jersey. You couldn't even get out there to warm up, get a feel for the ball and whatever. So, spent most of the first half trying to make sure my shorts didn't fall down around my ankles because they were, they weren't my size. So preparation wasn't the best, I have to say. So a little bit disappointed in that, and it doesn't help then. You get stick from the manager afterwards. That's the first time you hear from him. So.
So did you notice any kind of a rift within the squad against the manager, or?
Well, seeing the lads looking, I could feel a lot of tension in the dressing room beforehand, and certainly afterwards. I'd be honest, I'm not sure if it's a Cork thing, all this blaming after losing the match. I've seen it before, with other players in Cork, but certainly it's not something we're used to up in the Midlands. It's maybe
the manager questioned your commitment, Eddie.
Well, my commitment has never been questioned before. I've always given 100%. I also think there's a little bit of ageism there as well. I noticed the 2 players they took off at half time were some of the older players, and he never got to give us a chance to put our experience out there. I don't think actually the manager appreciates the experience. I think he wants Really, I don't really think he could really find out. This bloody phone's going off again.
Just on the Ginger point, Jason, there were a couple of comments made about maybe, the manager, he doesn't favour Ginger players.
Ginger bias, I think the term.
Yeah.
I think Eddie Nugent made a comment to some of the ageism. I think Ginger got a bit of gingerism.
Gingerism, yeah. I've, as I said, there's another things that I've grown up with all my life, but I think actually it's a good point because I was the only ginger player in the whole tournament.
Yeah, but Eddie Nugent again from Western Examiner. What do you say to the manager's comments that you're only a ginger whinger?
There's no doubt I like to voice my opinion on the pitch.
But you're not doing it on the pitch.
He placed a lot of blame on your shoulders there for the defeat in 2007. He was, more or less squarely put on his shoulders. Any thoughts, any feelings about that?
Again, he's living in the past. There's nothing we can do about it.
He was saying also that you were a bit shot shy. You were offloading responsibility to young Dempsey. Fucking nice through ball and all that, but maybe you should have, the ball was at your feet. You should have fucking cracked it.
To be honest, we're all team players. We play for your lads in the team. It's not a one-man show,
He seemed to have a lot of faith placed in you, and you didn't, didn't deliver it. That's more or less what he was saying.
Maybe that says more about the manager than anything else.
Because the manager is on record saying you're not really a team player.
Again, it's up to him to say it. If he wants to say it, it's up to him.
So you're staying neutral on the manager. There's a lot of feeling that is the manager right? Is it time to change management? You're going to stay neutral on that.
One won't be neutral. The only thing that goes with the tide is just dead fish. So if we want change, we want something new, then I think it's time for someone else to come in.
How do you feel about summer talk of Steve Rooney joining? Do you feel your place is under threat?
To be honest, he's welcome to give it a go. I'm very disillusioned at this stage.
I was brought down here under contract. I'm an experienced player. I've won everything up in the Midlands. I thought coming down here that was going to be a new start. I'm bringing my family down. I'm making. You say about I didn't make any commitment. I'm bringing my family. That's bloody phone again. I'm bringing my family down here to make a commitment. I thought the manager would understand. Basically, he's not really communicating with me, and when he does, I find it very hard to understand him. I don't know half time what he's saying. What's this now?
Yeah, so Ken, do you think your own preparation for the game was affected by the indecision about who was actually going to start on goal? You were talking about Adam Moriarty, maybe Stephen Rooney, or the man who never seemed to have complete faith in.
No, I did ask him earlier on the day, am I playing in goal or what's happening? And, I sent him an email just kind of an hour before the game, said what's going on, and that phone's really distracting, guys. Would somebody just answer it for Christ's sake? I'm trying to do an interview here.
So
sorry.
It's actually Owen's phone. I think it's Owen's.
That's typical. That's probably why I couldn't get a hold of him. So I got an email back just 2 minutes before the game was supposed to start. Yup, that was the response I got. So goes to show the level of forethought that went into team tactics.
So I Jason Shaughnessy, Limerick leader. A lot of talk these days is over managers' techniques, and the modern manager is present on the training pitch. Big questions being asked over the manager's fitness. Some papers have even quoted him as being morbidly obese. What have you got to say on that? Is he present on the training pitch? Is he not? Is he in chicken horse? Where is he? What's he doing?
To be honest, I wouldn't know. We were never on the training pitch ourselves, so we were kind of hoping to get a bit of pre-season training in. But
okay, so you haven't even been training yourselves?
This is the closest we got to a training pitch.
Okay, that explains that.
So, Jason, the fallout from the debacle, I guess, has been pretty severe. As we mentioned some quarters, something about a player strike. That's something we're familiar with in this part of the country, and yourselves know as well, Limerick. Do you think that would be appropriate?
Especially from Limerick, yeah. Look, I don't know if you've heard it before. You're probably getting a world exclusive here now, but there was murmurs before the game. Fellas weren't happy, especially towards management. I don't think there's any discord within the camp, but fellas were definitely unhappy with the management. We went out on the pitch, we did our best, we played as hard as we could. What I like to see from any team is a lot of spirit, a lot of heart, a lot of passion, and I think we got that. The only thing we didn't get was goals. But when we came off the pitch,
What about the goals? The guys should have got. There's a general feeling in the press room that's a stonewall penalty you gave away.
Whether it was a penalty I gave away or not, it wasn't given, and the referee's decision is fine. So I'd like to cut that question.
You know and I know.
Sorry, I'd like to cut that question there now. I've dealt with it. You're going too deep. Let's move on. Any other questions?
Just to wrap up, Jason, I think, who's the longest in the shower?
And Alejandro.